the ignorance about the invisible ones. Life of the eternal hill of glories has always been and is like this. Then, the infant asks, why is it like this? Because the vibration superior to everything and everyone is the invisible vibration, especially the one from the rational part. Therefore, what are the living beings to the invisible vibration? They are nothing. When the invisible vibration wants from everything makes nothing and from nothing makes everything. From black makes white, whenever it wants or is needed. The invisible vibration is above everything and everyone, making of everyone whatever it wants, especially when this vibration is from the rational part. The rational part dominates over all points of view. It is the force that rules over everything and everyone. And the knowledgeable living beings are those who, more or less, know these natural things and reply, that's it. The living being who does not have this knowledge of himself or the rest of things, adds a question mark on what he does not know and asks himself, do the invisible ones govern us? Do they indeed do with us what they well want? Is there really a superior being? Do the superiority is in the invisible world? The living being on earth thinks that we're the living beings who made the world and fall in contradiction when they say they are fools, dumb, or too rude. And so, the dismembering of all living beings are given and made by the invisible influences, the good influences and the bad influences coming. Notice how in the world there are living beings only in human form, but the thoughts and behaviors are of true beasts because they are unconscious, and an unconscious one does not concept well in life, except from bad to worse. Then, live there the dark wings in darkness, making confusions with insignificant things and causes. If you look for the reasons, you will not find them. If you look for the whys of the confusions, you will not find them. You regret and say, that's true. The living being many times loses due to interpreting one thing for another, and head against the wall. So many steps taken, and each step is a head against the wall, each step a pain, each step a hell. That is always reigning among the living beings who do not know how to live and who have their opinions as superior to everyone else. For all of those under the safety of the astral superior, under the safety of the invisible of the rational part, the years will be good and fair, even if those years are governed by the planet Mars. And those who are outside of that safety will be exposed to the disgraces, victims of everything of evil, going through distressing and painful events. The world since long has been ruled by the planet Mars, and that is why the world lives from revolts to revolts, dominated by storms, by diseases and wars. These are the revolution of the stars and the action of the invisible comets. The planet Saturn fighting with Mars makes the malefic effects of their fluids gets down over the people, over humanity. The living beings who do not know how to live need to suffer. And that is why there comes Mars to martyrize them, to make suffer all those who do not know themselves, who do not want to know anything other than worrying with the material things, only obeying matter, thus being the most persecuted by Mars, the most massacred and mutilated. Because matter is of Mars, and in matter are the cruel and desolator martyrdom. The living beings dominated by the astral superior, by the rational base, do not suffer the influences of Mars. They are happy because they obey the astral superior. They are protected by the astral superior, favored by the astral superior, by the rational base. All of those who obey the rational base are outside of the influences of Mars, free from Mars' dominion. Mars is one of the most precise planets to Earth because without suffering the living beings who are behind do not get to their true places, because to get there it is necessary to suffer a lot, becoming more lapidated to get in shape and on the way of obedience to the astral superior. That is the reason why the living beings suffer and have to suffer much more, for being based just on matter. Who wants the goodness, shall seek to obey to be always from good to better, and who does not want the goodness, who denies the goodness, makes confusion with which does not exist. They deny the goodness because they esteem evil, and those who esteem evil are dominated by Mars, always going from bad to worse. The rational base is not found anywhere outside this work. If the rational base could be found anywhere, you would have already seen the universe in disenchantment, but you never saw it until now. Therefore, it is here where rational superior is. There are living beings who adopt the invisible ones from the lower atmosphere as the living beings from the astral superior. And because they are not contemplated by them, it is that they continue on suffering. Then they used to say that this suffering is a probation they are passing through, and that everyone in the world passes these probations. Those like that who adopt the invisible ones from the lower atmosphere are subject to Mars influences. Only who do not suffer these influences are those who belong to the rational part. The others who say they are spiritists, of whatever kind, scientific spiritism or rational spiritism, are subject to Mars, handed over to Mars, because they are spiritists. Spiritism means, in experiences, uncertain about everything, being pricked, suffering, and never concluding the true knowledge, due to them adopting a path of experiences. And who lives in experiences is not sure of himself, he lives a life of uncertainties, full of surprises, full of opposition.